All right, I've been spending time in the charts and I'm going to keep it very simple today. We're going to take a big broad look at the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, and I'm just going to shoot it to you right at the beginning. I think the markets are getting ready for a very powerful move up. Now, there's no guarantee. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to take you into the S&P 500 and I'm going to show you what is causing me to think that we are getting ready to push higher. Now, if you can remember, I have been talking about the fact that we would end this week at 5,200. We'd push right above it and we would conclude this week at 5,200, and that would be a strong bullish sign that we're actually going to go all the way back up to all-time highs, get past 5,260, and get all the way up to 5,500 over the course of a very short amount of time. I also think that this is going to pull up Bitcoin. Bitcoin and the NASDAQ are relatively moving together still, and it's got its own story, but I can tell you that there's a similar situation setting up there where the algorithm is hunting liquidity, and all of the liquidity that it's going to be going after is back up above 68,000. This is going to bring our altcoins up off the ground. I'm going to take you into the charts on both of them. I'm going to shout out a small comment on Tesla. Tesla's one of the big tech companies that's showing some weakness, but if you take a step back and you remember where we just came from, where we take a look down the road, where we might be going, we had this incredible, monstrous move up from $140 all the way to $198. The market's processing that. I think ultimately we have the opportunity for us to come down and get beneath 170 as low as 163. Can't guarantee you how exactly low we're going to go, but that's the dip range that I'm foreseeing that we're going to get with Tesla. But then you take a big step back and you look at the chart and it's bullish. We've got a descending channel. Those are bullish. They break to the upside. We just had a powerful, powerful V-shaped reversal move. I think the trend moving forward is ultimately going to be favoring going to the long side. So in the short term on Tesla, we have the vulnerability of a dip beneath 170, possibly as low as 163, but we don't have to get there to climb higher, but we could. In that environment, don't ask me later, don't ask me when Tesla's up at $200. In this environment is where you'd want to consider taking another risk position to go long back towards $200, which I do think in the course of the next 3 months, we're going to be sitting around 200 to 220 pretty consistently with Tesla. That's what I see. And that view or that bias is what's guiding my investment. This is the Stocks with Josh show. You know that I come on here, I give you guys my plays, but one of the most important things that I think I can do to help you guys is to give you a big picture view of what you could expect in the market. Now, nobody knows, but if you spend a ton of time in the charts, you begin to see these clues, and those are the clues that I'm going to bring to you guys today. Let's take a quick peek at the S&P 500 and see why it's been moving up today, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on why it might move up tomorrow. Let's get into that. So today, Wall Street gains as jobless claims data reinforce rate cut hopes. Okay, so this means bad news is good news. Now, let's go into the S&P 500. I've been talking to you about the fact that the last time we had a V-shape recovery and a long trend up on the S&P 500, we hit 4,800. I've been talking about the fact that we're in a similar pattern, but I want to point out some things to you guys today. One is the strength of this move. So I took this as a means of illustrating the strength of this move. This is a copy of the channel that we had been in between 2020 and 2021, the end of 2021. And I just want to show you the difference between the current move, just so that you guys get a visual sense of how much stronger this up push has been that we've had in 2023 and 2024. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you guys. I pointed out to you guys that we had a 6% correction right before it hit an all-time high. And similarly, you guys know that I've talked about the fact that we were expecting this 6% correction before we get back to an all-time high, and we got that. Now, we're sitting at 5,200 right now, and when we go back in time and we zoom in on this chart, we're looking at the weekly time frame. Each candle is a week in the market. you can see that very quickly by the third week, we pushed over the middle of the channel, and that also pushed us over the previous all-time high. So middle of the channel, right? This was the third week, pushed us back above the all-time high price. The next 2 weeks, we got to a new high. Let's kind of take a step back and look at where we're at right now. So here we are, similar situation. We're in Thursday of the third week. Here's our previous all-time high, right around 52.60. And what I'm suggesting is that what we want to see it do, and what I'm expecting that will happen, is by close on Friday, we're going to be above this middle line. So we're going to be somewhere right around underneath 5,300 going into the end of this week. Now that's a lot of bullishness. And then the next 2 weeks are going to push us between 5,300 and 5,500. That's the track that I see us on. Now let's go back to the story the RSI tells. All right, when we're looking at the RSI, previously, right before the S&P 500 got this 6% correction during 2021, this was in August of 2021. We know that by the end of the year, this just kept pushing higher until it eventually got to 4,800. But right here, it was right around 4,500. It got a 6% correction. And I want to point out to you on the RSI, underneath the signal line of the RSI, bringing us back to roughly 55%. Now, we're in a very similar spot, right? This is kind of what I've been tracking. Back here, when we got to the 52.60 mark, we got that same 6% correction. I personally think the week is going to close back up beneath 5,300. We had the exact same dip right around 55% on the RSI. This is the main point I want to make. So we saw today that the jobless claims, the bad data, actually pushed the markets higher. We are going into tomorrow with consumer confidence and consumer credit at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think it's going to be more bad data, and it's going to be a continued confirmation to the Fed that he has to lower rates because the economy is slowing down. These are the signals of the economy getting weaker. What is good for stocks, though, is access to easy money, and a lot of companies need that access to continue to grow. And so Wall Street right now, when they're getting this bad market data, is viewing it positively, believing that the Fed is going to be moved to cut rates. Now, I think that it's going to get interesting as we get closer to September and November because this is an election year, and it would surprise me if the Fed actually cut right before the election because that absolutely would cause the markets to tumble. That's the usual typical reaction to the first cut. First cycle cut is at least a 20% pullback. So tomorrow we're going to be getting data. It's probably going to be bad. The S&P 500 is setting up exactly as I thought it would, that we should end the week above 5,200. And if the market responds like it did today to the jobless claims, tomorrow to consumer confidence and consumer credit, then it's going to push us all the way up beneath 5,300. It's going to push us over the halfway mark on my channel. And that's really going to be setting up for the next 2 weeks after this to be super strong, pushing us all the way back up to 5,500. That is a best case scenario. That's the bullish view of the markets right now. If we end up beneath 5,300 on Friday at close, then then it would be the continuation of a very clear path that's going to be pushing us much higher very quickly over the next 2 weeks. All right, I'm going to get into the Bitcoin chart here in just a minute. Before I do, let me just quickly shout out the MOOMOO investment app. Guys, if you're still learning to trade, remember, learn, test, execute. Don't try to jump into things that are a bit advanced for you. But if you're learning to trade right now, I would consider doing this. You want to have at least 2 trading platforms. One where you can take some speculative risk plays, maybe a small account that you're attempting to grow. The other one should just be a place where you're buying fractional shares and doing some long-term investing. Because let's say your swing account gets annihilated or you absolutely lose everything in your swing account. You're going to stay in the game because you're going to have that slow and steady tortoise long-term fractional share investing account. A lot of great data. I'm going to leave a link in the top pinned comment. If you put $100 into that account, they're going to give you 10 free fractional shares here in the United States. It's available in US, Australia, and Canada. I'm going to leave a link in the top pinned comment. Okay, let's talk about Bitcoin. Now, people are bearish on Bitcoin. We've come down to the bottom of the range. If you recall the conversations and dialogue that Tim and I had on Technical Tuesdays, we were talking about Bitcoin. Both of us largely said that what we were expecting is a lot of sideways movement, right? That's a typical move for after the halving, right? We've moved up a ton all the way up to 74,000. We came back to 56. And, some people are getting overly bearish again, and they think, oh, we're going down much lower. Now, that's a possibility. We've entertained, if we did go lower, where that would be. But I also drew you guys a descending parallel channel, and guess what? We're on top of it. So we came to the top of it, we broke above it, and we're on top of it right now. And when you begin to look at the big picture of where the liquidity is, okay, Josh, what's the liquidity? People take positions. They take leveraged positions for long or short on Bitcoin, right? And the market makers use the algorithms to hunt down the liquidity and to clear it out. Now, there's a lot of people that got in short positions up at 74,000, between 74 and largely the biggest block is at 68K, and they're holding, and there's the expectation that this thing is going to crash. They've not locked in profits, and the more it's come down, the greedier they've gotten. And this is where it begins to move back up towards 68K. And what a lot of them will do is they'll begin to average in. They'll increase their short position, believing that it's going to make a lower high. And this becomes a bear trap. This is the moment in time in which it gets this crazy volume spike, and it pushes right up to 68K and possibly even back into the 70s because nobody's expecting it. Now, if the overall markets, like I just got done telling you, are going to potentially have a very strong 2 weeks ahead, we'll know by the end of the day Friday, maybe a little bit of a moment on Monday as a confirmation, but largely we're going to get that confirmation here real soon. Bad data becomes good data, the markets go higher. All of this could lead to an environment where Bitcoin takes off, and we could absolutely go back to the top of the range because remember, Tim and I were both saying that the big expectation after the halving right now, sideways. And we've tested the bottom of the range back at 55. We went all the way down to that previous fib level. I showed you guys that. Now we could go all the way back up to the top of the fib level, above, back to 68. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen. One of the other things that I see is that a lot of the altcoins are down on the floor. They're at key levels of support. If Bitcoin did come down another 8K at this particular moment, then it would absolutely annihilate them. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think actually today, going into this weekend, may be the very best time to take some altcoin positions on your favorite alts. And I'll tell you that I did that. I gave a Discord shout out to Ondo, O-N-D-O. It's one of my favorite altcoins, and currently it's actually my largest swing altcoin. I added to my bags in the expectation that it was going to go higher, and I can just tell you that it's a bullish chart showing superior relative strength. During the storm of crypto, when a lot of things were coming down farther than people thought they might, Ondo came down a little bit, but it held its ground, which means that when Bitcoin takes off like a rocket ship, Ondo could go up easily 100% from here. It's why it's my largest swing, and I intend to win. I intend to come back in this Wall Street run with bags of cash on Ondo. And so I bought some today. I alerted the Discord. You say, what's the Discord, Josh? It's the Stock Squad Patreon. Myself, Keenan Grace, Stockmo, Stock Up with Larry Jones. And Keenan had given some great trades there. He's been killing it. I've noticed, recently with just a ton of great trades, well outlined, giving you both the up and down scenario and the trigger prices and the stop losses. Get into the Discord, check it out. I'm also going to leave a link there for that. I don't want you guys to miss it. That's what we're talking about. Let's get into the Bitcoin chart. All right, right now we're looking at the weekly time frame, and I just want to point out to you guys this descending, tapering channel that I've drawn, candles with very long tails on the weekly time frame. Now, what's unique about this particular one is that we've gotten above this descending channel. We've gotten above it, we've come back and back tested it, and we're sitting around 62,000. and there is just a ton of liquidity up at 68. And so it is my view that we are stair-stepping. I believe it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and we're going to be having a breakout move in the course of the next 30 days. I think it's feasible. Last time we were in a somewhat similar position. We had this dip back here, gave us a very bullish candle. We then got a little bit of a smaller bullish candle, kind of similar to the one that we're in right now. And after that, it was a very strong candle pushing us all the way back up to the top of the range, which I'm suggesting is going to be around this 68. This is kind of what I am leaning towards believing is going to happen because the market is going to move together. Big tech, NASDAQ, Bitcoin are going to move together. A lot of the alts are oversold and they're ready to pop. And so I am going to be watching closely for confirmations. This is what I think is going to happen, but I'm going to be looking for confirmations every 4 hours going into tomorrow and Monday, because if this is exactly what's happening, it means there's just going to be a ton of money to be made specifically next week and the week after if we're driving back to these all-time highs. And if Bitcoin's going to fake everybody out, go after that liquidity up at 68, just annihilate the bears, because that's really what it is. It's just the bears getting crushed. Then you're going to have people that are going to be thinking that it's on to the races, that Bitcoin's finally breaking out, that it had gone down enough. And I think we're going to get another bull trap. And then from there, later in this year, I think we could come all the way back to 48K on Bitcoin. And so I'm just seeing that we're going to have a very volatile moment here over the next couple of weeks. But ultimately, even though that price range is pretty high, it really is just moving sideways over the course of about 6 months. And we're just simply testing the top and bottom of the range. And so hopefully that made some sense. I'll try to answer some questions in the comments section. I appreciate all of you guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe to get the next video. Thanks. Peace and blessings. Talk to you later.